Or is that,
the
I don't
iPad.
understand it.
What do you think? Who's going to record it?
Well, why don't we see if it's
up
right?
to you to decide.
You're going to be able to
was what
see
I
if
was
it's
told.
recording?
So I submitted
Okay, well
it,
then-
they were like,
Oh, we're
no,
live.
you can't do
Okay,
that.
good. That means it's recording?
I thought it was to me. Cool. I'm like, well, anyway with that. So I did it again. Not that way. I was like, okay. How was it done by my predecessor?
So, hey, Maggie,
And then they were
we're going to
like,
start the first
no,
part of our
no.
meeting.
And then it was just like, finally, I gave them a version. They like, it was just like, and it was
I have, oh, this one?
now it's like, no.
Yep. Can you see it? Or do you want me to-
I've been too busy.
Yeah, it's easy.
Very involved.
And you got your copy, right?
It's just been
Your, what's it? Yeah.
So once I keep saying once I get through it, and then it's busy, but it's still getting better every day.
All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. We apologize, we don't have an agenda for our regular session. Should be quick and easy, and then we want to get on to our public forum at 6. So with that, I am Tina Zagiva. I am the chair of the commission, and everyone just go around and just say your name for attendance purposes. We'll start over here.
Hi, I'm Maggie.
Elias Gwen.
Sophia Gutierrez.
Benny Guzman.
Emmanuel Carter.
Savannah Robity.
And I'm Kofa.
All right, and so now we will go on to our minutes from the last meeting. We're going to take a couple minutes to review that, and then whenever somebody is ready, please make a motion to approve or not.
I approve.
I'll second.
Motion to approve.
Savannah motions, Elias seconded. All in favor? All right, motion carries. Reports and updates. So I think that, Anne, do you have something to report?
Thank you.
Can I make a motion to move this meeting outside?
Yeah, I know.
That would be great.
We're sharing because we're friends. Okay, so it just runs through a list of initiatives that I'm working on, and it includes SPAC initiatives, initiatives that are citywide, and initiatives that are Parks and Rec oriented. So the grant was submitted to Bloomberg for the asphalt art grant for the East Adams neighborhood. We have not heard back yet, so that's still pending. The PAL project, so the photo and literacy project at the university, has started its spring session. It's being held at Southwest Community Center, and that's going well. They're on a field trip at the university right now. We also have a couple of things that Laura Reeder, the artist, is up to. She's doing 2 more sessions this spring with the students across the Parks and Rec centers. She is also going to schedule to apply to have a installation later on this spring in one of the parks. So she's going to put an application together and present at April's meeting. Mine's not in order. And then we've been accepted to put the students' work at the atrium through May and June, beginning of, sort of through May really, sort of about the 10th of May to the beginning of June. There's going to be a student exhibition of the photographs they've taken with the PAL project and the photographs they've taken with Laura through some of the work that she's been working on. I'm also involved with the Creek Float. Again, it's a Parks and Rec, I guess, collaboration with the Creek Rats because it's their 25 years. So we're getting the Parks and Rec kids to make floats for 7th of June when they're going to float them down the creek with the Creek Rats to celebrate their 25 years of working on and cleaning up the creek. No action on the signage project right now. Again, LIPE, everybody's been steadily working on that initiative that's going to accumulate in a celebration in July, the middle of July, where they're going to open or unveil 6 new murals and a new flag for the art park. The work that we'd started on the Art in the Park loan program is temporarily on hold because I cannot use the funding that I have available to me for temporary sculpture because it's not considered a capital improvement. So we have to have some more brainstorming and think of different ways that we could maybe implement that, whether we decide to do a couple of more permanent pieces so that we get something in motion where we go through the process of putting an application out and accepting work and working with parks to have things put in place, which might be a good idea, or, you know, it just needs more work by us to brainstorm how we're going to navigate that. And then I think that might nearly be it for this month. I've been working on the website finally. I went out in the snow and took the other 40 photographs that were missing of different pieces of artwork around the city. And they're all attached to a map now in the website. So that piece is taken care of. And I think that's it. Does anybody have any questions? Or can think of anything else that I'd mentioned before that I haven't mentioned this time?
Is the capital improvement funding already awarded?
The capital improvement funding is through Parks and Recreation. So it was put in their budget for this last fiscal year. So there's a portion of money from that budget that's awarded for initiatives for public art.
Or do we have a timeline for like when that needs to be used up?
Apparently that money does roll over. It can
Okay.
just stay. It doesn't get, it's not
It doesn't
time
get
limit.
like after,
No.
yeah, okay.
Anybody else have any other questions or updates? Emmanuel, do you have any updates?
No, I don't. Other than that, we are working on park master plans with Josh Wilcox and also Jeff Romano from the forestry team is involved. So one of the things we're hoping we can do with those studies is make recommendations for the location of public art in the 5 parks that we're working on, and maybe those will be good starting points.
And I will just update on the LIPE event on July 19th. We are working on getting those RFPs out soon. They're just getting tightened up a little bit. And then we're waiting for confirmation from the city on some marketing questions that we had. And then we want to start pushing the stuff out. And then we're hoping to have the FLAP group, the Friends of LIPE Art Park, will review those submissions. It's for 5 T-panels, double-sided, the Art Shark, double-sided, and then a new flag. And then we'll have all those artists come through SPAC with their applications so they can learn the process if, you know, they're new to it, or, you know, just so we have it done correctly. And all right, so if we're done on that part, Ian, I think you had discussion on here at 5:45. I don't know what that was.
Really, it was for us to discuss anything that needed to be sorted out before the meeting if we had any time available, but.
I do have one quick thing too. So as these RFPs and other kind of events, even the photos of like Laura's work, it would be great if we can start posting that. So if you wanted to send to me or to Cara, I don't know if you can tell, I've slowly been getting more comfortable with like, oh, it's okay for me to post something. I was a little hesitant because of the kind of red tape and the bureaucracy of it, but I think as long as we keep it straightforward and simple, we should be fine. So as we continue to start getting things, I am going to continue to try to build the social media presence. I know that right now it just kind of is what it is. So that's kind of on the up and coming, especially after the academic year for me, please.
Do we have the ability to do ads for social media or throw a little money at?
That's would be a question. Yeah, because
to
even like,
boost a post or something?
I mean, we could do like a $20 for a week situation, as long as we kind of budget out, like, maybe if we had 5 specific posts that we budget like $100 for, boost it for a week, you know? I mean, this is maybe something you and I can talk about of like how much money we want to put into advertising.
Yeah, but where are you getting the funding from? Because
That's the question.
we
That's
don't
the question.
have funding for advertisement or coffee, just so it's clear.
I think. Yeah.
The only money is the capital money,
Yeah.
which is
pick it up for a minute.
Does Parks advertise on, is there any way we can kind of slip into there?
it publicizes programs.
But it does it,
Is that advertising or is that different?
well, so there, you can pay like Meta to,
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. Ann and I were sharing. Yeah, you can pay Meta to advertise, and you can get, especially if you have a small following like we do. And then the other portion of that is these RFPs we should look into finding some budget or I don't know, if we're getting in more funds for the future, we're having, one thing I've noticed in the past was our RFPs aren't getting enough traction. They're not getting out to the people who need to get them. And actually paying for some advertisements through Meta would help, but also posting like on NIFA or other sites. Cafe, yeah, all that costs money. But
You might be able to post to the CNY Arts resources page and
Well,
also
yeah.
the calendar.
yeah, and those are free and you know, low hanging fruit.
But the RFPs you're talking about are, those are going to be issued through an association.
Okay.
So it's not through SPAC.
It's not through SPAC.
Right.
But we still should, I mean, I think, and maybe this goes back to talking about our mission to promote, and if there are public art RFPs, it is in our best interest too, to help cross-promote. But
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
where like we'll share with Anne, and then Anne has the artist registry, our social media.
Right.
It should go on all the art sites that we can put them on for free. I mean, yeah, and then share them in our networks of people.
And I will ask as well about,
yeah. I'm just saying, if our goal is to grow our following and get more traction on these things, especially since we have such a small social media presence, it does work to throw money on an ad. It really does.
Also flyers. Flyers have been really successful
Yeah.
recently, like physical flyering.
So maybe, I mean, so as part of the social media and kind of even some of the outreach stuff, I think this is something I can talk with Takara about like what could be the best way, and also just determining which ones we do and which ones we don't. Because again, like it doesn't,
Yeah.
it can't necessarily be everything. Because if
No.
we boosted every like, because I don't know how, like if we did like 100 posts in a given year, we boosted all of them, that's 500 that we could be using for.
No,
Yeah.
I just think the RFPs that we're sort of really critically engaged with, like Art Park, because it's in parks, it's, you know, really connected to this committee, you know, we should work to advance that a bit stronger. I mean,
Can you guys not hear us?
can't hear.
I don't know about the people over there. Those mics are so small.
Peter, do you want to move over to this side and see if you can hear better?
You're close to it. You've got it. Those are small mics. They got to be
So you can hear me really well right now.
right into them.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I can
System, not mine.
I can definitely.
Actually, it's not our system. But
Yeah.
We're just using it.
Can I ask,
But go
can I
ahead.
ask a question? Are we allowed to take donations from businesses? I'm pretty sure. No?
We are not allowed to take donations.
Okay.
But we can take donations through associations like the Friends of Lipe Art Park. If they're their own group and they want to do like a fundraising event or they want to do something to help art, then they can take the donation. but we cannot solicit or take donations as SPAC.
And that not even in kind?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, we can, actually, let me take that back. There is a process to accept donations. It has to go through council, it has to go through the mayor's office, it has to go through the Pope, and then, and then it goes through council, and then we can do a
Wow.
waiver for donation.
Okay.
So that just takes about a year, and then we're
Yeah.
good to go.
I'm just trying to think, there's probably some sort of, clever ways that we can boost our social media that's not just cash on the barrelhead.
Yeah.
For example, like, I don't know, we could partner with, the art store and just say like, hey, if you pay for the social media post, and we'll do like a collab on a post that you pay for, and we'll, as like a in-kind donation. So it boosts them and it boosts us, something like that.
There are parts of the city which use fiscal sponsors for different projects to mediate some of that, and it's quite a well-known process that's used across the country. So there are a couple of parts of the city that do that. Forestry, they use the Parks Conservancy Council. No, Parks Conservancy, not council. So, I mean, there are ways that you can partner with organizations around the city
Yeah.
that can be fiscally responsible for your donations.
Yeah, I think we should really try to consider, some sort of marketing plan, because, one of the things I hear from artist friends of mine is they just don't know about the calls at all, even though we do, we do all we do. So, I mean, if it means throwing a little money at it, I don't think it has to be crazy. Like you can take out a Facebook ad for $20 for a week,
Right. Well, I think this could be an action item where, Anne can look into all the ins and outs of donations and marketings. And
I can go and ask comms and have a conversation with them. That will help a lot.
Yeah. I wonder if also if we're eligible for the downtown committee grants for marketing and economic development. I know CMY Arts has one too. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to be involved, but yeah, both of them have marketing grants specifically.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
All right, so if there are no further items for discussion, we're going to adjourn. This is our regular session. Can you hear me, Peter? Okay. So we're going to adjourn in a minute. I'm going to put it in my mouth so I speak loud. We're going to take 10 minutes, and then we're going to start our public input forum. For all of you that have come for the public input forum, thank you. We have coffee that has not been donated. Somebody brought it on their own. Okay, you're good, you're good. Okay, we're safe. We are safe. Stay fresh, thank you. Go for it.
I don't know if it's changed or not, but I don't know if the ability to tag the account back.
So,
But something that could happen is if you have an artist doing a mural, they're tagging you or cross-promoting it, which I think somebody set up here, it's getting shared on not only their account as followers, but your account. That's a free way of being able to get some more followers.
Okay.
Yeah, the
So, yeah.
collaboration function.
Like a collaboration.
Yeah.
So there are options to that for both SPAC tagging other artists tagging SPAC. I do need to look into some of that because I think the issue with the social media is, so any social media that is run by the city of Syracuse is city records. So there's kind of protocols, legal things regarding the longevity of it, the record keeping of it. I can definitely look into that and kind of, I don't think it's impossible for us to do, but I don't want to give you like a firm, this is going to be the protocol and policy of it. But that's definitely something we can bring up next time as we continue to develop the social media part of things.
All right, I'm going to motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor? All right, okay, so we are adjourned for our normal meeting. We're going to get some coffee, take a couple minutes, and then we'll come back to the public forum.
Public forum.
Thank you.
So,
I do need copies. Oh, perfect.
One of my former students just went over to the Allen Foundation.
I also have this whole end to myself if anyone needs to spread out, like if there needs to be more room. I know, just. Hi. Sophia. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I am one of the coordinators for the art trail. Or I'm the main coordinator at CMY Arts for the art trail, so I'm your point person. Yeah. It's up to you. I mean, if it's part of what we're asking, if you feel like it's appropriate, be my guest. All means. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Gotcha. Thanks. Appreciate it. I'm telling you.
Oh, wait. There's mints.
Dude, don't
Can I have one of the soft mints?
Which one?
That way, no, this one. I'm gonna put in my coffee. I don't know. Yeah, because there's no cream.
That's so smart.
Because there's no cream or sugar.
I didn't even think of that. A soft mint. This is why you're the vice chair. Betty, you are blowing my mind. You have the real.
Yeah,
That's brilliant.
whenever I have like a hot cocoa, I typically do also put like peppermint in.
See that? And cocoa makes sense. In coffee, it's kind of like.
No, that's amazing.
Hey, listen. Teach their own. Teach their own. I'm a little sensitive about my coffee. Oh, she too. Okay, I guess that's.
I'm inspired.
It's a thing now.
Listen. Put that on the spec.
Right? This is how we grow the social media account.
Yeah.
SPAC additives to coffee.
Absolutely. This is approved. This message is endorsed by SPAC.
Seconded. He seconded. I'm abstaining.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna take it. Do you want to put your stuff up? Is that okay down there? Mm-hmm. Okay. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Oh, that fan was such a smart decision. What's that? That person's fan is such a smart decision.
Folding fan.
I'm at like old auntie level where I'm not gonna leave the house anymore without a scarf, a fan, and candy. Like that's where I'm at. Absolutely. You know what you want. Respect that.
You can get the thicker sticks.
Actually, I was gonna ask you if I can speak with him tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm gonna be there 2 to 4. Carrie might be there 12. Do you have Carrie's number?
Yeah, she and I are close. I'll text her.
Yeah, text her.
I might come on my lunch break.
Who's not getting an agenda?
They will be on somewhere. You'll find it. Literally, I think actually once you go in, it's actually one of the first boxes, like in front of the chairs.
That's great, yeah. I have the little sticks cut and everything, so.
Perfect. Okay. You have research.
Put this on your resumes, guys, please. Absolutely. Born ready, baby. You got 2 minutes, take your time. All right. Oh, okay.
You know, I just threw that on there.
I'll specifically say.
Okay. I know. Everybody's watching me.
Only you.
Okay. Welcome to the Syracuse Public Art Commission Community Forum. This is the first of its kind that we are aware of. I'd like to take a moment to go around the table and have everybody introduce themselves and how long they have been on the commission. My name is Tina Zagiva. I am the chair. I'll start. I've been on since 2018, and I've been serving in the chair position for about a year now. And I'll start over here.
Hello, my name is Margaret Levis. You can call me Maggie. I'm a fairly new commissioner. I've only been here since about September. It's nice to see everybody. Thanks for coming.
Elias Gwynn, 4 years, I think, ish.
I'm Sophia Gutierrez. I just joined this winter.
I'm Benny Guzman. I joined in 2021, so yeah, going on 4 years. And I'm the vice chair.
I'm Devanna Robity, and I've been on the commission for about 4 years.
And I'm Emmanuel Carter, and I've been on the commission, I think, for 7 years.
My name is Ann Kofer, and I'm currently the public art coordinator for the city.
All right, so the reason why we're hosting this meeting is because we want to hear from the public as we are drafting our mission and our vision statements, which we're going to talk about later tonight. We want to make sure that what we have drafted matches what the community is saying. And then from there, we will talk about the different task forces that each of us is on and the types of things that we're trying to do in order to accomplish our overall master plan, which incorporates creating opportunities for artists, what else? Educational outreach, lots of good things, that we hear echoed in the community. So we want to make sure that we have, hit everything that we need to do when we hit the ground running to do all this work in the near future. So the other thing we want to mention too before we start. You want to take that one over?
So we actually have a digital survey. There's a QR code on the seats. There's also some posted in the back. We ask that you please fill that out. If you're able to, you should be able to just use your phone app to scan the QR code and open the survey. This helps us get some very tangible data, some hard data, and especially for those individuals who were not able to come today, you can still fill out the survey. Again, this gives us hard information on what you're interested in, the types of places you want to see public art, how you kind of imagine public art in these spaces. So please fill this out at your leisure. It's available for y'all.
For those who just arrived, there's beverages and notebooks and pens in the back.
Please help yourself. So, another thing to mention is that the Public Art Commission started in 2005, and we exist through an ordinance, which is a law. And essentially, it was created to review public art coming through the city, and also it tasked the commission with creating a master plan and implementing it. Peter's yes. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So, also in the past, we've had a part-time coordinator, and now we have a full-time coordinator, and in a new department. So there's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts taking place, and I think, we're trying to figure out how do we approach the best path forward to make sure that we are doing what we are tasked to do, which is our responsibilities as volunteers, as public servants. All right, so the next section, we'll have Benny take over this one.
Yeah, so we want to share with everybody a draft version of our mission and vision. Again, as Tina had mentioned, we have, in the past year or so, again, we're under Parks now, we have a full-time coordinator. So with a lot of these new changes, we thought it important to relook at what we've been working with and kind of revise it. But again, part of what we are doing here today is we want to hear your input based on these drafts so that we can fine-tune it. So for our mission statement draft, the mission of the City of Syracuse Public Arts Commission is to enrich our neighborhoods by promoting the creation and collection of public art that reflects community values, fosters inclusivity, inspires engagement, and highlights Syracuse as a thriving arts destination. And our draft vision statement is, the Syracuse Public Arts Commission envisions a city where art enriches our public spaces, and this art encourages dialogue, inspires our communities, and connects our residents and visitors. Again, these were drafts that were created by the commission through a few different sessions, and we are presenting them as drafts now so that way we can hear feedback on it. And again, I believe there's a copy of it on the agenda. Yes, so under draft vision and mission, if you have specific comments or feedback about that, we would love to hear that during our discussion part. Go on, yeah.
All right, so the next, we're moving on to the next agenda item, which is SPAC Task Force Overview. And so what I was saying earlier is that we've developed some specific task forces based on our master plan in order to do and implement our master plan. So what you should see on your agenda, we did list it on there, right? Yep. Okay, so there's 6 different task forces. They are comprised of 1 to 2 commissioners, and then what we are asking of the public is for, if you are interested, to join our task force and help us develop this content, because we can't do all this work alone. Again, we are all volunteers on this commission, and we're just, we're trying to do as much as we can with the time that we have as well. So with that, I'm going to go through each one and ask the lead on them to just briefly give you guys, a summary, maybe some goals that you're working on. And then as you're listening to these things, when we have our open discussion, feel free to give us feedback on these as well. Like maybe we're not missing something, or maybe you think, we could expand on a different task force, or, we don't know. But this is what we have. So the first one is website and social media.
Yep, so that it would be me and Takara Smith. Yes, we are currently still working on our website. Our website and social media are controlled and owned by the City of Syracuse. So I bring that up because it takes a little bit longer. Things are public record. Anything that's shared on there has to legally be saved for 7 years. But I say that because we are really committed to using our social media to promote the artists, promote opportunities for artists, share some of the initiatives that we are working with, and really try to build a solid community with that. Our Facebook is Syracuse Public Arts Commission. Our Instagram is SYR_PAC. So again, that's Syracuse Public Arts Commission. And again, really just trying to build a network on our social media so we can share more information, have more tangible, concrete things. Again, we're working with city systems, so red tape, bureaucracy of it all, things roll a little bit slower, but it's not impossible. And that's kind of what we're hoping to continue to promote some of these things.
And one of the things, too, with the website is we're looking to make the application process a lot easier for people, and hopefully not as encumbersome for, community groups or temporary art. Maybe it's not as big of a process. So that's in the works as well. The next one is finance and funding, and is that you? Are you on that one with me? Or is that just me? Okay, so that's me. Essentially, SPAC is a part of the City of Syracuse, and we don't have any we don't have any money, but there is, for the first time ever, $35,000 in the city's budget specifically for public art. Now, that money is also earmarked for capital improvements. So some of it, a percentage of it, has to be used for long-term maintenance of our existing stock. But the rest of it is, to be determined. And I think, that's where we as a commission are trying to figure out, how do we have a say in how that money is spent equitably across the city and as transparent as possible, but that we have a say in how those funds are also distributed and spent. So we're working on that. And again, we cannot ask for donations, but we work with associations and like the Friends of Life Art Park is a group, and they can get fundraising money, they can get donations, and they work through a fiscal sponsor. So there's like a kind of a way to get money without us directly, having to deal with those funds. And then grants can be written by our coordinator, and those can go through the city coffers, and that's a whole process, which we try to avoid because it's, red tape, it's like a lot. So we try to not do that. And then, I think just building relationships with other businesses, with local artists, to see, how we can maybe not, just get other sorts of support, I guess. And that's it for me. And then we have public art program planning and outreach.
Okay, that's me. And also part of this team is Sophia Gutierrez, who's here at the table, and Kelly Sickler, who could not make it this evening. So we're at a pretty interesting time in the city's history with the viaduct coming down and opportunities arising for expansion of the mission of the Public Art Commission. So we're looking at several things that we're only in the very beginning phases of doing. One is that we're currently working with the Syracuse Parks Department to do master plans for 5 parks around the city, working directly with the Parks Department staff. And as part of that, one of the things we'll be trying to do is recommend locations for public art in the Syracuse Park system. We are also in the midst of working with the Syracuse City School District about urban forestry, but given our situation now with the commission and other opportunities, we're going to start to also work with them about getting art on public school sites around the city as a way of, in enhancing the educational process for all of our students. And we are hoping to initiate a public art borrowing program from other institutions in central New York that we're hoping will end up on the Business 81 corridor after the viaduct, I-81 viaduct goes down. So this is the first year we've had a full-time coordinator. The first time the coordinator has been in the Parks Department. So we're now at the beginning stages of being able to think a lot more broadly about what the commission can do and where it can do what it does. So that's where we are at the moment.
All right, next up is business and organizational partnerships. Elias Quinn.
So real quick, I just want to, first for the folks who just sort of rolled in, first of all, there's beverages in the back and notebooks and pens and whatnot, help yourself. But also, just to kind of let you know where we're at. Currently, we are in the task force. We're describing all the task force. And the reason we wanted to talk about this with y'all today is to, first of all, let you know what we're working on, but also to invite you to be a part of these task force. Because, this is a very grassroots effort. Even though we're a city commission, we're all volunteers, and we're all just artists or art, adjacent folks who are just trying our best to sort of make Syracuse pop off in terms of being an art city and having a lot of cool public art. And if you all feel compelled to have that sort of a vision and have that sort of a manifestation in the city, we encourage you to find us and find a place to sort of join us and participate on these committees with us. So the Business and Organization Partnerships Committee, we are looking to build relationships with cities and organizations across the city. And there are things that we can do and things that we can't do, again, because we're a city, this organization, this committee is officially part of the city. So in terms of taking donations, that's something that we seemingly cannot do, or sponsorships, etc. However, there are other ways that we can think about working together with businesses and organizations. Right off the bat, a lot of businesses have buildings that have spaces for public art, or outside spaces for public art. And a lot of business owners might not be thinking about the possibilities of how to have public art in their space, outside their space, on their buildings, etc. And to kind of go back to the zoomed out view, part of what we are trying to do, and part of that we all in this room can collectively do, is create such a culture of excitement around art and public art that businesses will be lining up to offer their walls and lining up to offer spaces in front of their building or beside their building to put up public art and sculptures and paintings and murals, etc. So that's kind of one of the things that we're doing in the business and organizational partnerships. We also have potential abilities to sort of work together in terms of maybe sharing resources in certain ways, but those are some of the red tape sort of fine lines that we're going to have to walk to make sure that we're not crossing any of those lines. But nonetheless, the bottom line is that the more that we bring everybody to the table, including businesses and organizations, and we all grab an oar and row in the same direction, the more we can make the city pop up in terms of public art.
Thank you, Elias. Maggie?
So I had the wonderful task of reviewing this glorious document right here. This is the Syracuse Public Art Master Plan. This is a 44-page, beautiful piece of literature that really, it's very well written, but it can be, I guess, when I first started, it was exceptionally overwhelming for me, and I'm on the commission. So I can only imagine what that process, or what viewing this could have potentially been like for someone who is an incoming artist who is interested in participating in our organization, or even just the community in general, what that could have done to someone in that position. So what I've been trying to do is think about ways to simplify this master plan, get it boiled down a little bit more, remove a lot of the kind of flowery language, but also this lends itself to a conversation about the application process. So a massive part of what the commission does is reviews applications for people who are interested in creating, posting, sharing public art. And that application process has also been proven to be very cumbersome, very long, there's just a lot of steps to it, a lot of questions there that may or may not be necessary. And so a huge part of what I would be interested in hearing from everybody tonight is if anyone has had experiences with applying for public art, either through this commission or in another community, what your experiences were. We will be working as time goes on, and a lot of the feedback that I am able to get from this meeting tonight will directly impact the master plan as we develop it going forward. Hopefully we can get it down to like 20 pages is kind of my goal. So, thank you.
Can we get an audiobook version of it?
Of course. Yeah.
All right, so with that, we are going to go over, what?
One more.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I missed one. Artist Education, Savannah.
Hi. So, yeah, I'm Savannah Robity. I'm on the Artist Education and Outreach Committee. It used to be a two-person committee, but my partner stepped off. But we had been working on content for the website to help educate artists on how to approach an RFP, a call for entry, resources on how to clean up your artist statement, things about, polishing your proposal. And we're also looking into creating information about how to do a mural, how to do a project, things you want to consider about if you want to put up a sculpture, literally the nuts and bolts of that, and how to look into, there are all sorts of resources on mocking up murals, creating your proposal, doing a mural on a surface that's not, stable, prepping the wall, all of these sorts of details. And another, sort of goal of mine is to educate. Not every mural or project has to be gigantic, and that can sometimes prevent artists who are totally capable of producing a public work from getting involved. But one of my favorite public art pieces in the city of Syracuse is a small mosaic piece that's about this big, and it's on the creek walk. It's a really lovely fish project. But there are other ways that you can kind of get into the public art space. You don't necessarily have to do anything that's 20 feet. And so that portion of this is to outreach, to help educate, and potentially get some workshops going in the future where, other artists can teach you how to kind of get involved, how to do your own mural. There's a lot of different techniques out there to mock up large scale or even scale down if you need to. So that's this portion of the commission.
All right, so with that conclusion, we're going to go over the ground rules. And this is where, after we go over the ground rules, we're going to ask that participants please line up at the podium. We ask that you speak clearly. Peter, can you hear me? Is this good? Okay. Speak clearly into the microphone because we are also, for our viewers at home, we are live streamed. And this is a recording that they hear us through, so it's important, that you speak through it. If you don't feel comfortable speaking publicly, you can submit feedback through the QR codes posted around the room. We also have Instagram and Facebook. You can send us a message. If you think of something after the meeting, please send us a message, follow up. But that's how that's going to work. And then we just have 3 things. Turn your cell phone to silent. Be respectful. And you will have a 2-minute time limit. So you have 2 minutes to speak. Benny is going to go over the rules on that one.
Yeah, so I understand 2 minutes is kind of like, oh, that's a little bit of time. But again, we're doing this to be respectful of everybody who's here, who wants to speak. We don't have a whole bunch of time, so we want to make sure we get as much as we can. So again, I encourage, if you don't feel comfortable speaking or have something quick you want to share, the QR code survey is a great way to share that. But what I will do is we ask that you please just introduce yourself. After you introduce yourself, that's when I will start the time. I have the timing here, so you will be able to see it. If a time limit is intimidating or too much, I do also have little note cards that are a little more subtle.
Benny's really proud of these note cards.
Hey, I want to use, but I also understand.
We want you to feel comfortable.
No, we want you to feel comfortable, and then at 2 minutes, we'll give you a grace like 30 seconds just to finish your thought. But again, we ask nobody go over that because, again, we want to be respectful of everybody's time here. We want to give everybody as much of a chance as they can.
So as you all are speaking, we'll be taking notes. And, again, this is to help us inform our task forces. You can give us a statement. You can give us an observation. You can ask us a question. If we have time to answer it, we will. If not, we'll see you afterwards when we close. We're going to mix and mingle a little bit. We'll stick around and talk to folks if they want to chat with us one-on-one. And then, yeah, go ahead.
The one-on-ones.
Oh, yeah. Well, afterwards we'll adjourn the meeting and then we can talk to folks. Then unofficially, is that what you're asking? Yeah,
Just there's these weird rules that the only official conversations can happen during session, right?
No, no, that's okay. We're it's
Never mind.
a moot point. Never mind. We're just dealing with a lot of rules. We're figuring it out.
The city of Syracuse, bureaucracy.
Yeah.
We are a city, we are an entity of the city of Syracuse. So again, if it seems like some of these things are not like intuitive or like, why can't you do this? It's again, we're volunteers. We work with the city and we're trying to just be a voice for you all, really. So again, that's why this input is really important. Yeah.
That's not good.
Do you want to maybe,
Oh, you want to so review the mission and vision?
Yeah, just because I know a few people come in late, I'm going to read again the draft mission and vision statement. Again, I ask that if you have feedback on this, please feel free to share it. These are drafts because we want your input to have an influence on the final version. So the draft mission statement is the mission of the City of Syracuse Public Arts Commission is to enrich our neighborhoods by promoting and creating the creation and collection of public art that reflects community values, fosters inclusivity, inspires engagement, and highlights Syracuse as a thriving arts destination. Vision statement, again, the Syracuse Public Art Commission envisions a city where art enriches our public spaces, and this art encourages dialogue, inspires our community, and connects our residents and visitors. So yeah, if you are unsure where to start with discussion, we do have some questions. So what do you think the purpose of public art should be? In which spaces would you like to see more public art in Syracuse? What type of art would you like to see in Syracuse, i.e. interactive, street murals, performance, sculptures, digital, other kind of ephemeral work? What has been your experience with the public arts opportunities in Syracuse? And what funding sources have you / others used to create public art opportunities in the past? So yeah, with that, we can open it up to discussion. If people would like to start lining up.
Anybody want to go first?
All right.
We got Peter.
He's just getting up to get coffee.
Thank you, Peter. Oh, he's just getting coffee.
I was really nervous he was getting coffee.
Yes. Peter, do you want the time here, or is this too much?
My name is Peter Svoboda. I've been around here a long time, 40 years. I did not come here for any money. I came here to say a couple things.
Let's hear it.
Last summer, a friend and I did a mural in Rochester. It was 15 feet high and 100 feet long, and it is inside the ski company building, and it is awesome. Okay. Also, I'm a resident of the town of DeWitt, and we applied for money to do a mural, and they liked it, but we couldn't. They didn't have a zoning code for it. As part of that, what I did is I did research and came up with a body of information, what I would consider a complete body of information on which they could make a decision. What is a good mural? A good mural is something that you want to take a picture in front of. But a great mural is one that somebody will drive 100 miles to have their picture taken in front of. I'm concerned that in my research, I found two things that were rather shocking. One may be slightly unpleasant to hear. It is about a court case in Florida where the court found that no municipality or governing body could limit anything that was put on a building that was owned as a residence or a business. I did not make the law. I am just telling you. The other thing that concerned me more was this shocking classification of art, mural art, into a couple different segments. Homespun art, a lot of that appears to be the type that is conforming to these regulations, has a place. Homespun art.
We do ask you to finish your thought. We are out of time.
Okay, I'll finish up. But homespun art is not really the high end of art that you find in Europe. And that type of art that is homespun is called, in the trade, it has a name, it is called podunk. Okay? What we need here is what they're doing in Europe, which is trompe l'oeil, and possibly even a theme. I have a thing called Fairyland. I would like to see a Fairyland theme. Other people can come up with their own ideas. I wanted to give you this information so that you would have it.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. Sam?
Just very quickly, Sam Gruber, and I'm the co-president of the Westcott Neighborhood Association. I have no particular agenda, and I just want to say that our community has been involved in many art projects of different types over many years, and the quality of the art in Westcott area and the East Side ranges from bad to good, with a lot of indifferent, because it's hard to maintain, to have a standard. It's hard to have a particular parameters to force people to follow. What I'm asking, though, is the commission work on clarification of actually who is responsible for art, who can be responsible for art, and under what circumstances, because we have sponsored art, we have guerrilla art, we have just individual artists with a business's permission painting something, we have competitions, and there's not clarity about what is actually allowed and what the process is. So as we go forward, I think for our neighborhood and for every neighborhood in the city, to make it clear, what the process and what the procedures are. Once that's established, then we can talk about the actual media, we can talk about the subject, we can talk about whether it's abstract or figurative or whatever. Those things can come down the road. But right now, people need to know basically what's allowed. Also, whether things about advertising in art and other types of political messaging and those things, what is allowed and what is not under the purview of the commission. Thanks.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michael Genatasio. Question I've got for you folks is, as we're developing, I know with public sphere, we're dealing with people who can climb on stuff, can break things, all those kind of wonderful stuff. But I think sort of touching back with what Sam was talking about is, one of the issues is insurance. How is that getting dealt with? Is that something that's going to need to be put on to the artist who's creating the work and the future sort of protection and maintenance of that equipment or that sculpture or mural going out? If we're looking at the timeline for what people are going to be doing, how are we supporting them financially? Because it's a large burden to put on someone to be creating that work. And then also being able to say in the end, oh, well, you also need to carry some sort of insurance policy going further for this. As well as just kind of that general maintenance. If something gets damaged from winter, et cetera, or just the general population misusing things as they do, how that works and if we're working that plan together. I don't know if you have any response to that.
Yeah.
Well, we do. So there is in our application, which we do outline what is or is not permissible. You can paint on 1 to 2 family dwelling and not go through us, but anything else has to come through us. Insurance for a sculpture on public property, you do have to get. You are responsible for that.
I'm sorry, you meaning the artist?
Yes, you, the artist. Yes. On private property, you don't need to come through us to put up a sculpture, and we have no say over that. In terms of,
so there's no funding or plan in order to help the artists.
I wouldn't
with
say that
aspect?
because we have talked about that. That's something I'm big on, is how do we create one insurance plan that we can put all of our projects under, instead of having artists get $400 riders every time they want to do something and like use their stipend that they're getting instead of putting it in their bank account. Like that just doesn't make sense. But every time I've tried to do that, it's difficult to have that conversation. And like for SPAC as part of the city, that's going to have to be the city looking into that and seeing how they can cover it or if they can't. So
that said, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. That said, though, as a commission, one thing that we can help you do is we can help connect you with maybe groups that could help you like file for a grant or something like that. Or if there is, you as the individual artist, you can accept donations. Just because we can't doesn't mean that you can't. And because we have a collective, we have resources to help connect you with what you need. That's kind of one of the functions that we're really trying to develop here. So if you, like, just to say, if you specifically have a project in mind that you're thinking of at this juncture, like, you could always reach out to us and we can have a later conversation about like getting you what you need going forward.
I'm just thinking the long-term
Heard.
lifespan of the arts program and how we're going to establish and show that this is
Right.
something that the city, ultimately, it sounds like the city onus is on them to sort of step up to
Correct.
the plate and handle that end. Because I think ultimately putting that onus on the artist and the creator is
It's a heavy burden.
way beyond
It's a really
where
heavy
necessary.
burden.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
It's
and we hear that.
inefficient,
And I
yeah.
think also that another thing to definitely take into consideration is that, you know, we are all, I mean, not myself, but the majority of the people here are artists. So we understand the application process and how cumbersome a lot of this stuff and difficult that it can be, not just like emotionally and spiritually, but like financially, it's not a joke. And so I think another one of the goals of this forum was to illuminate a lot of these issues for our partners in the city, so that we can help again bridge those gaps with the community and solve some of those problems for you. So the long answer is that we're working on it.
Yeah.
And
appreciate it.
also, thank you for bringing it up, because
Yeah,
this is what
for
this
sure.
forum's about, is for hearing from you about what needs to happen so that we can try to work towards that. So thank you, Michael.
Appreciate y'all.
Anybody else? We'll take compliments too. Oh, yes.
Yes, compliments are appreciated.
Into myself to compliment you. That's funny. I am here to compliment you.
Oh,
So
okay.
there you go. And that was not staged or planned. Thank you for all you do. You are volunteers, and it's amazing. So thank you all for your services and your individual talents. I've been a resident of Syracuse 40 plus years, and it's really fun to see the advent of art. You know, we're all sort of wannabes, and my sister's in Pittsburgh, and I always feel really proud when we do things that rival larger cities and their impact, and I think we're there. So thank you. One of the questions was, what do I enjoy? And I appreciate, you know, being asked that and being invited here tonight. I enjoy the Park by Firemen, you know, the fireman thingy, you know, and then obviously all the murals. I live in the Westcott Nation, I guess we call it. And then, you know, just walking downtown and all these places. And I have seen Syracuse University students from elsewhere take pictures in front of these things. I love to spark the creative imagination, what beyond murals, you know, functions as public art. You know, and the combination of parks and outdoor nature and literacy, I think, are such unique opportunities for Syracuse itself. So I actually really came tonight to say thank you. It was interesting, though, as I was thinking about other public arts commissions, Petaluma, the city, there's a 1% fee for commercial applications over 500, or construction development projects over $500,000.
Can you say that one more time?
Petaluma, California. So
Is it
actually,
percentage for the art, you're saying?
yeah, for the public art fund. So, you know, I'm naive, I don't know what we have, but my idea is always just fatten the pie.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
hopefully, you know, maybe just as a resident, I can plug that ear and put it out there, and maybe there's funds to be realized in ways that are more larger than we're even thinking today.
Thank you.
So-
What was
Love
your name
that.
again?
Love that.
What was your-
Oh, sorry, I didn't say my name. Allie Holtzapple.
Thank
Allie,
you,
thank
Allie.
you,
Thank
Allie.
you.
You can collect your check at the end.
Just to comment a couple of things on that. First of all, yes to that energy of finding ways to get funding to do more pieces. And then in terms of your appreciation, you know, first of all, I'm not worthy of any appreciation myself, and I want to say first and foremost, the artists who have done the work deserve most of the appreciation, but also Tina, who spearheaded the City as Canvas mural program, deserves a lot of appreciation.
Good morning, good evening, everybody.
Put the mic up.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Violet. I'm with the Downtown Committee of Syracuse. So I just wanted to offer a few comments on behalf of the Downtown Committee. The Downtown Committee supports public art as a way to beautify and activate downtown spaces, create a better sense of place, and display talented local artists. We have run the popular Syracuse Arts Festival for many years, facilitated the Utility Box Art Project, and assisted artists in displaying their art in windows of vacant storefronts around downtown. So the Downtown Committee supports public arts and the work of this commission. And we look forward to continuing to engage with you all. And please let us know how we can have any partnership or support any projects.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. What was your name again?
My name is Joe Violet.
Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Violet, like the color.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
So we, one of our committees is the Business and Organization Partnership Committee. So we should definitely talk.
Yeah, I have a business card for you. Sure.
Perfect.
I'll stick
All
around.
right. Thanks.
Actually.
I'm Jim Emmons from the Syracuse Poster Project. Thanks for your work. I was especially excited to hear you talk about creating the list of building owners who are willing to incorporate public art into their buildings. In our experience, that is a huge drain on time to approach a business owner to try to break through. Go up the corporate ladder, particularly if the building is owned by a out-of-town company, so that's a lot of work. And it'd be great if you can make that happen. And it'd be great also if maybe it could be institutionalized as part of some other process where building owners every year, they're having to do something with their taxes or their permits or whatever. And could there be a checkbox that says, yes, I want to be considered? And then also, how do you take the next step and say to a business owner, you're interested in having public art, that's wonderful. How about the next step of anteing up and making a contribution? How can that next step be incorporated into the outreach about the place, the venue for the art? So all of that would be really good. And I'd be interested in hearing what you all have to think, what you're planning about how this outreach is going to work and what kind of a response you might get from building owners. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
What was your name? I'm sorry.
Jim Emmons.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Charlie Sam. I do art stuff. I like your hair.
Thank you.
All of ours?
All of you. So, two things. The first thing, what I'd like to see is, I think it's called mapping, but I'm not sure of the correct term, but for the edification of others who don't know what I'm talking about, it involves projection of images onto buildings in such a way that it looks hyper-realistic. I think it's Binghamton that has a big festival of it, and I think it should be Syracuse. Excuse me. Something that affected me and other artists that I'd like to advocate for is that there's plenty of artists who have designs, paintings, or images that would be well suited for a building and who do not have experience or facility, if you will, with things like scaffolding, all the equipment that's involved. I'm freezing up, so I'm not going to list it up. You could look it up. So there's lots of artists that have these images that would make great work that could go, for example, with a competition, but they will not enter because all they have is the design, not experience with dealing with the infrastructure, the setup, the surface, the budgeting, things like that. What I would like, or what my vision would be, is if the Public Arts Commission or some other organization arranged it so that an artist could team up with an artist who already is experienced with it and able to facilitate it, I think it would open the pool up greatly, and we'd have a lot more variety of images available to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Chloe Flores. I am a local artist and muralist. Thank you for volunteering your time and efforts. I would like to speak to my personal experience as an artist. I was awarded one of the city's canvas murals for the North Side community. And I found that there was little to no guidance really or support for my experience. I also didn't receive an unveiling, or at least the mural itself, the community and my efforts as an artist did not receive an unveiling ceremony. And I feel that like that's not only an unfortunate experience that it seems is fairly common in Syracuse because there's not a lot of standardizing of arts organizing. A lot of it is like DIY and grassroots. But it's also a failed opportunity to engage local communities. And the whole reason why ultimately we're investing in public art is to create an identity and a shared sense of community. And an unveiling, and even past that, consistent events organizing around these installations is a really valuable way to continue to build the identity of Syracuseans. So I think like creating a more standardized and supported onboarding process, but also like Mike was speaking to, like a support framework that not only protects the investments that we're making in our communities, but also invites residents to engage regardless of their class or their race. I think that's really valuable. Also, another thing would be, I've also speaking to my own experience, I have suffered abuse within these spaces, and creating a standardized community agreements that is included within that onboarding process so that artists are protected and also held accountable regardless of their position, whether they're managing projects or serving as laborers. And not only artists, but ultimately anyone who is involved in planning and serving community through public art. Creating a standard of behavior, I think, is really valuable.
Yeah, thank you, Clove. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else? No? Oh, Sam? Sure.
I think that was beautifully said. I think we can do a lot more as a community. Well, I know we can do a lot more as a community about education and engagement. Otherwise, the artworks are there, but nobody really sees them or understands them or uses them or is inspired by them. First of all, we have, by my count, I don't know, 100, 200, I don't know how many public artworks already within our community, but most people don't know anything about them. So as you develop the website, or perhaps we can look for a grant elsewhere, minimally some kind of map. Syracuse University recently did this for their own art on their campus, which was a great benefit, and they began actually putting up little labels to tell people what it is. If we could do that citywide, I think that would be great, some kind of publication. But also the unveiling and maybe pop-up artist talks, lectures, tours, get people, communities, TNT groups, community groups to do little events around their artwork. I think you would find a lot of support for that kind of thing citywide. So it's something we can talk about going forward. It wouldn't cost much. It's more about organization.
So just real quick on the GIS map we have of our public art, Anne has been photographing and taking down all the information and trying to put it into that system so that it will be up mapping throughout the city, right?
Yeah.
All of our public art.
Soon. That's
Soon.
what we're being told.
April. We were told the rollout would be April.
Yeah, I've put all the, I think, 150, so you're good, between 1 and 2,
I have
100 and 200,
yeah, I have
150.
yeah, I have my own photographs
So,
of at least 150. So
Yeah, I've attached all the images now to a map, which was a big achievement for somebody who's not very good at computer code. And I need to add more pieces of information, but yes, it's embedded in the new website, and it will.
That's
be
great.
up.
That's great. I was just using Philadelphia's recently because I was writing about some artwork there. I'm an art historian, so I use these things for cities all over the place. So we should have that. That would be really great. I also want to say, we had someone from Downtown Committee, and it was also something else was mentioned. OHA, I just got a mailing. Their gold award this year in May is going to be for the Downtown Committee, but also for the sculptor Sharon Buman. And I believe Sharon's not been in good health recent years. Sharon has made so much art in our community. Most of you know the Jerry Rescue sculpture and the Libba Cotton and other statues around the country. But she also restored all of our great bronze statues from the early 20th century. About 20 years ago, she did this massive program, and that's why we still have those works today. Otherwise, they would have corroded away. And it might be an occasion when OHA does this to celebrate either Sharon, but all of these works throughout the city, because it's really we have an amazing collection of American Renaissance sculpture throughout the city that's not published and little known. So that's just an idea. Lots of ideas. I don't want to take any more time. Thanks. And Ann and I, we can all talk.
Yeah, and just one quick to a point about unveiling. You know that we don't commission any work, and so typically that falls on the organization or the business or the artist that has created the work. And sometimes you get some neighborhoods that are more involved than others. And so it really comes down to, again, that grassroots somebody putting it together. There's no, we can't, as a commission, as volunteers, attend all the unveilings or help create all the unveilings. Like, it's just beyond our capacity. We're happy to get an invite, and if we can come, then great. We'll be there for sure. But again, we're not getting paid to do this, so it's difficult for us to have a presence.
Well, and
in
I
the
think
community all
also
the time.
to lend itself to the earlier point, if there's anything that anyone needs that they're looking for, we might not be able to physically provide that for you. I don't know that I can physically write you a check to bring you, bring a giant ribbon and huge scissors. But what I can do is call somebody I know who might be able to help you with that. So again, we're use this as a resource as much as possible. And any further ideas that anyone else has as far as like how we could better support these, different artists, we'd love to hear them.
And I want to piggyback on that for a second. One of the things I want to just mention is that everybody who's been speaking has been giving us amazing ideas and suggestions for how we can do all of this better and make this bigger and just make the public art better. Which leads me to say, y'all should be joining our committees and bring your ideas to these committees, and then help us manifest these ideas. Not to belabor a point, but as a small group of volunteers, we're only capable of so much. But a large group of volunteers is capable of a lot more. So I highly encourage everyone who came here tonight to participate in this, and they see the potential and they have ideas for how this can be better. Your participation is vital in that, not just today, but going forward. One other thing I wanted to address, Sam, some of the things that Sam was saying. As an art historian, you definitely need to join a committee, please. Your ideas? I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are. But let's keep in touch though, because not only like your ideas, but also your experience touring other cities and everything is. I'm sure you have a lot of great ideas that we can implement.
We have a question in the back, Jojo. Oh, okay.
And then one other thing, Sam, from your first time that you were up at the mic, we didn't have a chance to really address that. You mentioned the question about what is the process of how things are approved and whatnot, and that's kind of the fundamental thing that we do as a committee, as the
right now, yeah,
as a commission.
It's the only thing we do.
So, like, as a commission, that's sort of our job, is to make sure that public art is not advertising anything, and public art is not political, and that public art is not indecent in any way,
offensive,
etc. So that's so if there is
And
any,
it's got longevity.
and
So
and that it's
there was a time period where some things weren't getting longevity. Now our rules are that it must last at least 10 years.
Oh, quality-wise.
Quality,
Oh, gotcha.
yes.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it stays.
She referring to process.
Like-
Jojo? Okay. Okay. Just, that the surface is prepared properly, that it's pressure washed.
That it's a type of paint that can stay up long term.
Yeah, it's sealed or
it's
just
not-
quality is there, and it's
Yeah.
not just, you're using your acrylics from your mom and putting it on the wall.
That it's in a location that doesn't get, railroad rust. Which is
Right.
one I can think of that's degrading.
True.
Those things. So we won't approve a mural that doesn't have the ability to stay up and stay in good condition.
Unless it's temporary.
Unless it's temporary. Unless it's temporary.
and
That's
the-
different.
and
Then that's fine.
That we have a area on our application, and we're working on creating easier processes for temporary works. Yes, but as far as addressing the question about what was going on in Westcott, there are some works that were not prepared properly years ago that are degrading. I think that's what Sam was referring to, and so we. Not specifically.
Well, we have a standard that everybody who puts a mural out on public property, they have to come through us anyway to approve it. So that is, one standard, but we don't tell you what to put on it, on the wall. That's true. Private property too, if it's on a business. If it's on a 1 to 2 family residential house, that does not come through us. Everything else comes through us, private or public, mural-wise. So those businesses would have had to come through us.
And there's some graffiti work that is not through us.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't control that. So
I would love to continue this, but I do want to respect.
yeah.
In order to move things forward, I'm wondering if we could get the highlights of this meeting, and also in particular, the comments that were made by the individuals that spoke. If we're going to move everything forward, I personally believe that we can get a lot further by working together. And that means that we have to understand or get as much information and also give back as much information as we find. If you want true involvement, I would really love to, I'll send Tina my email. I think she already has it. But can that be done?
So you're jumping ahead of me, Peter, a little bit. But yes, it can be done. We plan to formally adopt our mission and vision statement in April, and then we are going to take this feedback and create a strategic plan. We can definitely give you the highlights. That can be sent out through, maybe Anne can put this together and send it out to those that want this information. But we will be giving you what's the next steps.
From this meeting?
From this meeting.
Perfect. All right.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would also like to add, one of the questions on the survey is to share your information with us so that we have, at least an email for us to send you updates. Because I think after next week, we're gonna close down the survey. So that way we can kind of do some quick data analysis. We will probably reuse this at a later date. But yeah, all the data, all the information. So that way you all know this is what the community is saying, If you want, for example, if you want digital art, but you're the only person in Syracuse who maybe put that, we're going to lean more towards doing murals and other things. Again, but I want to share this information with you all so you can see this is kind of what the community is saying. Not to say that that's the rule, the law, we're not going to deviate from it, but just so you all have a sense of what we're going to be kind of moving towards.
Yeah.
my lords, ladies and gentlemen, and people at home. So we were talking a little bit about longevity, and maybe that's something that should be rolled into like the education portion of it.
Yes.
Because I'll tell you, I'm JoJo, by the way. Everybody, anyone who doesn't know me, find me at your friendly neighborhood art store. There are paints that will last for 300 years. There's paints that will last for 130 years, and there's paints that will last for, how long does Joker Pink last? Like 72 hours, like not 15 minutes. So once you get your, your approval and everything, and you're putting together your proposal, please come see us, because sometimes there's a display and there could be 2 jars of paint sitting side by side. One will last forever and one won't. So we can steer you towards the right thing. Also, and this is not what well, anyway, we have such an amazing graffiti culture in this city, and I hope that somehow we can marry that. I know a lot of it is maybe not sanctioned by the Public Art Commission.
That's not true.
But that's something that could be maybe, connected to like Visit Syracuse, right? Because I'll tell you, and I know, like, who was it who said we need more trompe-l'oeil? Yes, we should have tons of trompe-l'oeil artwork in Syracuse, but lowbrow art is having like a huge resurgence right now. And there are people who drive many hours to have their pictures taken in front of an eyeball. And I know a lot of people who drive all over the city looking for new eyeballs. And I have a little old grandmother who pays her grandchildren cash when they find a new eyeball for her to go take a picture of.
Wow. Oh. Send us her information.
That is something.
She should be on our task force.
Yeah, she should be on our task force. I'll tell her.
She should be the mayor, frankly.
And then finally, my last point, again, without notes. I don't care, obviously all the money is green to me, but it would be really nice to see more Syracuse area artists getting these Syracuse jobs. Not that I hate to see someone from out of town, but is there any way that we can give maybe an incentive to these local people who are putting up these ideas, or giving
them.
Yes, like maybe someone 25 or 50 miles from the site of the piece?
Yeah, I think we're trying to do a couple different approaches.
Not to mention specifics, but there's a mural that I'm thinking of that did someone really dirty that was done by an out-of-town artist.
Yeah.
And his money spends just as green at the art store, so I'll sell him paint. Or them. I won't name names and I won't be specific. I'm just saying that it would be nice if more of that stuff was kept in the family, so to say.
So one note about that. The majority of our murals go to Syracuse artists. So that's that. That is something we're all artists as well, and we're really passionate about that.
Also, I will say, I see a lot of familiar faces up there, but for a desk full of artists, I don't see all of your names in my system at the art store. So maybe you're shopping at another store or at
don't worry.
like Hobby Lobby or
Not Hobby Lobby.
or something.
Oh.
But go ahead.
I grow my own pigments.
You're awesome.
But no, so one thing, and what we will say is when there is a private mural that's funded by other people, they select the artist, right? So sometimes those things pass through here, and we approve it. But that doesn't mean that the work of the commission in general isn't really geared towards supporting artists here. Occasionally, artists from other places get projects, yes. But a lot of our work is, especially our education, our outreach, and everything that's coming up as we gear up to do more on the, and in fact, we're yearning to do more for you guys, is definitely geared towards local artists. So I won't say that we won't have another out-of-town mural, but we are very geared towards
just want to
making
say
sure these opportunities are available. Sorry.
One more thing too. So yeah, we can't control if a building owner wants to hire somebody from California. That's out of our control.
We can't have like a public execution or something.
I mean, we can't. They're really unpopular these days. I don't know.
It's not in the budget.
But what we can do is there are a number of art projects that we could partner with the Parks Department for, such as like functional benches that are also a sculpture.
Oh, how wonderful.
Or employing artists through their programming through the summer to teach youth. So that's another way to employ artists. So we are having those conversations. It's just how do we put all the pieces together and then like roll it out into the public. But yes, heard.
And one more note, sorry, Tina, is what I'll say in defense of bringing in outside artists occasionally, not as a priority, but first of all, the muralists who live in the city of Syracuse who may be able to garner bigger funds in other cities, like they can only get that. We can't. There's only so many walls to be painted in Syracuse, though we are mostly blank, right? So the artists who live here are going to need to go to other cities to get projects someday, just as artists from other cities are going to come here. And so while this commission is geared on supporting our local artists and helping them grow their career here, eventually they will need to go forth. So if every small ordinance had a policy of no outside artist, we would kill everyone's careers.
Oh, maybe not no outside artists,
exactly.
just fewer.
But so anyway, like I said, we can't say that there can't be other artists coming in, but we will have occasionally some other things. And there may be an opportunity for us to bring an artwork or an artist to the city of Syracuse that our residents wouldn't be able to see anywhere else. Like they're not going to travel and go see this person's work. So when that occasionally happens, we might want to say, oh, this is like a really important artist that we have the opportunity to get. And I'm not going to say, no, because it's Dohosu or something like, oh my God, let's get him here and let's do that. So but let's just be honest, that's not going to happen anytime soon. So at the moment, the commission is very geared on supporting our local artists.
Yeah.
And then last point, as far as getting more businesses to offer their walls or their property or whatever, I bet if you all got real dressed up and did your makeup and hair, and Mayor Walsh, maybe he's watching from home, where
with his children.
He's not here.
Putting him to bed.
And you had like a big press conference, I bet he would come, and then maybe like the news would cover
This
it
is
or
it.
something.
You're at the press conference.
You know, I'm just saying.
You're the featured artist. Congratulations.
Definitely not. But
also
anyway,
join a committee.
There's my ideas.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Jojo.
Thank you, Jojo.
So I just want to pause for a minute before anybody else comes up to the podium. We are going to take a couple more. For those of you that have not asked a question, we're giving you priority. Rick DeCito has his hand raised. Charlie, if you would just mind waiting. Rick, could you please step up to the podium and speak into the podium microphone so that everybody at home can hear you and what you have to say?
Please sing your name.
Say your name, please.
Sing it.
Yeah, it's Rick DeCito from the Gear Factory. I got here a little late because I made the mistake of driving by Mamma Mia, and there's cars all the way up and down the street. There's people everywhere, traffic, and oh my God, people come out for the arts, right? So anyways, I was a little late, but a lot of the stuff you heard here today, it's probably, you've heard it before, you probably heard some new stuff, but with all that, I just want to say that maybe it's not that complicated, and we just start putting those things together and have the confidence that we do know enough, and we start really working towards action plans and making things happen. And I know you are just a committee and volunteers and all that, and you can't get out there and do the work, but if you could serve as connectors and bringing the people together, so where there's a need in one spot, maybe you can find some other business or company or department that will pick up the slack on that. Maybe you can partner with a marketing company that'll help get the word out there. My biggest thing is, for every mural and sculpture and everything else, I had to go down and visit my sister in Nashville, and they have art trails and so many other things. Are we partnering with the Visitor and Tourism Bureau? Are we already partnering with them to get all the people from the hotels and everybody that visits the city to get out in the street and give them something to walk around and do and explore and stumble across the restaurant that they wouldn't normally go to? I think that's a big thing. But overall, I think we know a lot, and I think we just have the confidence to move forward and make those connections between identifying spaces, marketing, funding opportunities, putting all that together. we could make some huge leaps and bounds in the next few years.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
All right, Charlie, you're up.
I think Ruth would like to talk.
So I don't know if it's an elder thing. Peter and Sam came back up, so here I am. First of all, to speak to one of the points, I can't speak for Joe, but the arts community in general welcomes the work of people like Steve Powers, known as Espo, or Keith Haring, who's not available anymore. People from out of town is the point. But what we do want is more money for local artists.
Yeah, yay.
So
Yes.
I'm glad I said that clearly. I thought of that, and I forgot to say before, was a form of public art that we don't talk about, that's not acknowledged, and which is very timely, given the fact that the viaducts and 81 is coming down, and there's going to be a lot of cement work done. On Meadowbrook, which is in the east side neighborhood and runs from about Nottingham High School to DeWitt, I think, just to place it for people. On the, how do you call it, embankments, there are recessed concrete artworks that were done surreptitiously by, and I can't remember the artist's name, but I have the information. I wrote an article about it for Greater Westcott Nation Facebook. At any rate, surreptitiously, on his own, a worker who works with concrete created some medallions. They're about this big, maybe 3 foot across, and they're part of the concrete. They definitely will last more than 10 years. Anyhow, that's a form that nobody talks about. It's not explored. There's only one example that I know of. I don't mean to say one example, but that body of work, it has maybe 5 or 6 pieces in it. So there.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you.
Emmanuel want to speak to that?
He wanted to talk, so.
Emmanuel.
No.
Oh,
No.
Is sorry, those types of work, especially when the 81 project, and I'll let Emmanuel talk more about that, but that is going to be a result of the state and the city's connection for that type of concrete work, which is beautiful and amazing, and we'd love to have. But that kind of gets out sometimes outside of what we can do. But Emmanuel would know more about that. But that leads us into something that you guys can do, is begin to pressure your city officials, your state officials, begin to write to support public arts along the 81 corridor, and to ask for that, because those types of things are going to kind of get outside of this commission. But the state itself has, that's DOT. They're building the roads. They're doing that kind of thing. So what you can do, and if you can't join a commission, if you're on 6 boards already because you came up and you talked really nice and sounded like you knew what you were talking about, and then everybody wants you, Sam, what you can do is write letters. You can call your representatives. You can say, hey, we want public art along the 81 corridor. We want to see this state investment in our city as you bring 81 through. And that's something that can happen on a national level, on a state level, on a city level. Emmanuel, more about the 81 corridor.
Yeah, I think we need to keep in mind that it's probably going to be up to the folks in this room to craft the arguments to state DOT about placing art in the I-81 corridor. State DOT will not provide money for art or for urban forestry. Anything that the city wants other than lanes is going to be up to us. Joe Driscoll is heading a subcommittee, which is, a liaison committee working with the 81. And, it is our hope that the Arts Commission will actually use that vehicle to make it clear that we do want space for art in that boulevard, but we're going to have to use some of the ideas that we're coming up with this evening to actually fund that art.
I will say, I just want to add one thing, that Emmanuel and I and Ann have been in conversations with representatives from the DOT, and we have written letters to advocate for the spaces to be considered for public art, to please hold these for us to utilize in the future. We don't have any funding for it, but, again, we're hoping to try to find something. And the state can actually write it in its budget separately, and that could be the advocation that you all do, not to give us the space. We are advocating for the space, so we should have the space. It's the funding to do the art in that space is what we need, and that can absolutely be put in the state budget. So depending on where you live, you're going to have a different representative. Reach out to your representative and advocate for that. Maybe that's something that we can put together in a template so that it's consistent language from everybody. And right now is budget season, so I don't know if we're a little late, but maybe next year. Something to think about.
On that note, if you want to help advocate for projects like this, right? If we are going to do a campaign where we're going to reach out to elected officials and advocate for these funds, you should definitely sign up through the QR code so that we can so that we can coordinate together, right? So we can send out an email and say, hey, let's all do this in unison.
Right. Ruthnie, sorry. Thank you for waiting.
Okay. Hey. Hi.
We'll be our last speaker.
Ruthnie
And then
Young-Grant,
with the best.
Director of Communications and Marketing for the city. I wanted to thank the commission and thank the people who are here today. I've never seen this many people at a public art meeting, so thank you. I thought all of your feedback was really well, and it's encouraging to see good ideas and solutions and engagement. And as an example of engagement, someone came up earlier and said they would love to see a better process for celebrating and unveiling art. Well, the city does publish and promote permitted events in city property. So that's actually something that could be done. I didn't know that was something that this community would be looking for. So I was talking to Saisha Bird, our Commissioner of Parks and Recreation right there, who's taking the time out with us today, and our colleague Joshua Wilcox from Parks and Rec. We've got the whole Parks and Rec team out here. But hearing you say that, I thought to Saisha, I said, hey, we do have a process for that, and I didn't know that that's something that the artists would enjoy. So yeah, if you're doing work in a public space, we can figure out a way to make sure that maybe after the application process, we insert a sheet that says when you're done with your work, submit for a permit, and then the city permitting crew goes, oh, there's art happening here, there's an unveiling happening here, and then a lot of city departments are in the permitting pipeline. We get it, we see it, and if it's a permitted event in a public space, we put it on the city website, we put it on the city calendar, and I will coordinate with the mayor's office and say, hey, this is happening here. We did it at, what artist was that by the Spencer Street, who we unveiled the work that, who?
Oh, Tony.
Yeah, so that was how we found out about Tony. So the process does exist, so that just goes to show you being able to be in spaces like this and say, hey, I'm looking for this. It sparks someone else to say, hey, we could make that happen. So thank you. This is being live streamed, and I look forward to seeing everyone's engagement in the future.
Yes.
Thank you, Ruth. Hold on a second. Here.
Actually, I have a question, Ruthnie. Is that for events that have already been approved, through the permitting office? Are you speaking to the beginning of the process or the end of the process?
So let's say Jane Doe is approved for, public art application is approved, goes and builds this beautiful sculpture. We can work together to figure out a way to put a page in the application process that just says, when you're done, if you want to do a public gathering to celebrate this, this is where you go, this is what you do. And once she begins the permitting process, we're all in that pipeline and we see it.
Okay, so the city would help support those events, essentially?
Yes, the city already publishes permitted events.
Okay.
Events that we permit in the public space.
Gotcha, okay, thank you.
Snaps to that. I don't know. Closing? Okay. All right. So we're going to wrap this up a little bit. We're right on time, right?
Yep.
Oh, nice. 7:15. Okay. So again, we want to thank all of you for coming out. We really appreciate it. This has been amazing. I expected 2 people, but we got a good crowd. Hopefully, this has been beneficial to all of you to kind of, hear what we're doing, what we are here to help, we want to help. We're just a little bit limited, but we're working on that. And then,
One, I want to just, again, thank everybody for participating, for sharing your insights, sharing your ideas. Again, if you haven't filled out the survey, please fill that out as well, because all this information is what's going to help us kind of move forward. It's going to help us reorganize the proposal process, rethink what kind of artwork we have, rethink how we do funding and supporting of all the artists, rethink how we celebrate our artists and show that kind of support. One thing that I really think stuck out to me, and maybe this is because this is what I research, but the idea of us as connectors as well. I think realistically, I'll speak for myself. I came into this because I wanted to connect the local artists with a way to do public work. How do we kind of connect our artists to these opportunities? Again, we may not necessarily be able to do it for you, but we may know a person who knows a person who has a friend who could help you with that process. I think a lot of us come from various different backgrounds in the art world and also in the kind of public sector world to really be able to help our artists do these things. So again, think of us as the connectors. And we can't do our job without the connection to you. If we're not connected with you, if we're not working together, then we really can't function. So yeah, I think that was one of my main takeaways.
and so before we adjourn, I just want to say that if you are interested in helping us out with the task force, see us afterwards, connect with us, give us your information. Again, share your thoughts with us on social media. That's how we can see your messages. And what, Elias?
Oh, there's a QR code on there that there's a survey. You can give your input through that QR code. And also you can connect with us. The more that we are all connected, the more we can do together. So please just connect with us, connect through the QR code, connect through this commission, through the QR code so that we can all move together and make things happen.
And stay tuned, Peter. You'll get the highlights, and you're going to get a strategic plan later on down the road. And what else?
The website is coming.
Can you hear me, Peter? All right, Peter, we'll talk after. I'll catch you up on the whole meeting. All right, I'd like to take a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
Nope, I'll just first it. Elias, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have your info, though.
Escape yet? No, we're not.
Programming. Wait, hold on a second. Oh, this is good. She's interested in. I'll give you
I know. I was like, maybe we'll get 5, 10 max. I was like, that's the whole point. I'm glad we had such a good turnout.
Third pass, you get a sticker. On the third pass, I give you a sticker. I do, I give you a sticker.
I'm ready for the sticker.
You better wait for the sticker. Oh, thank you. Fourth pass, I give you one. There you go. It's even better.
Good job, Benny.
I
did.
Right.
I think let's go.